And then we're going to go ahead and open up the Pushbot project that we'd created inside of that Robotics 2 folder. That's how we want to keep things organized. So far, I have brought into this a part from the Tetrix parts folder. So now that I've got my project open, I can go ahead and open up the Tetrix parts folder. And I want to look for different channels. Channel starts with a C up toward the top there. There are my channels. And so it says I've got this one in use, the 160 millimeter channel. And that is here. And I've placed it so that the open part of this C channel is toward the front. I have also, under here, created a component called crossbar. And then I activated that component. I just reactivated it just now. So that little radio button there has a dot in the middle, which means that any parts I bring in here are going to be underneath this crossbar component. And here we can see that I've got my channel 160 millimeter. Now I have also grounded this part, which means that this part won't move. If I attach other pieces to this part, they will move to it. It will not move in space to go to them. How did I do that? Right click, and then at the very top, you can see that I can unground it because it is currently grounded. If yours is not grounded, it will say ground. And that's what you want to click there, is you want to ground it. And you can tell which parts are grounded because they'll have a little push pin next to them right here where my mouse is. Okay, so it says we need two 96 millimeter channels, two 1-inch standoff posts, 10 5/16 inch socket head cap screws, and 8 keep nuts. We're going to start with the two 96 millimeter channels. So back in the Tetrix parts channels folder, here is the 96 millimeter channel. Right click on that and insert one into our current design. I am going to orient this now so that it's in the proper orientation. And once it's been placed, I click OK. Also make sure that this part is underneath the crossbar assembly. I'm going to click OK and bring that in. Now, this is pretty cool. We are going to assemble these two pieces together. Under the Assemble dropdown, I want to create a joint. So looking at the instructions, we want to put this piece on this piece. So notice that I can select several of these different hole pieces. And what I want to do is zoom in here and grab the outer edge of this center hole, the top part of it. You can also grab the bottom part, as I'm illustrating here, or the top part of it, like that. I want to grab the top part. Once I've done that, now it's saying, well, what do you want to attach this to? Well, now I want to attach it down here. I want to attach it to the bottom of this hole here. So see how that's lit up? Click those two and it's going to move it into position. And now I want to tell it what type of motion do I want these two pieces to have together. And it is the first one here, which is rigid, which means they cannot move. They are stuck together in this position. So I'm happy with the way this looks. I'm going to click OK. Now, if your holes, if you grabbed the inside of one and the inside of the other, you're going to have a part inside of a part. We don't want that. Right? We want it to look like it would is if we had bolted these two together in the real world. Let me spin this over so you can see. Does anyone not have that? Good job, everyone. Got that all done. Good, good, good. We need a second 96mm piece. Let's go ahead and insert that into our drawing. I'm going to rotate this one over into the correct orientation, just like I did the last one. And when it's in the correct position, hit OK. Go ahead and assembly a new joint. I'm going to pick the top middle hole here, the rim of that, and then the bottom middle hole of this one. I can't quite, oh, it did pop up there just for a second. Maybe I can use that. Oh. So if you can just use the orbit around until you can see that and select it. And there we go. Zoom out. You can see those two pieces are now in the correct position. And rigid is the default for me right now, which is what I want. Click OK. I'm going to go back to my home view. Yep, that looks right. Do you have a question, Daniel? Sorry, we're having trouble with the speakers on this end. Okay. Let's put in the 1-inch standoffs. It's under Tetrix parts. There's a folder for standoffs. And we're looking for the 1-inch. There it is labeled. Going to insert one into our current design. Let's go back and look at the schematic. And it's going to be in the inside first hole. That's what I'm going to look for. It's going to capture that position. I'm going to zoom in. And I want this. There's a lot of little holes in here. What we want is the outside, but not the hex. We want the round right there. I'll grab that, and then I'm going to orbit. Zooming in the bottom here. And I want this hole right here. Zoom in so you can see that. Click those two. Oh, I wasn't assembling, sorry. I have a joint. A rigid joint. I want, again, this outer rim. And right there. There we go. And we need one more of those. Capture that position. Assemble joint. You could just hit J also to start this joint feature. Excellent. We are ready to add the screws and nuts now. First we'll put all the screws in, and then the nuts. Everyone still with me? Need me to pause for a moment? Just raise your hand if you need time to catch up. Yep, okay. Andrew, if you could turn your camera on, please. Say that again, Rio. Are you making a recording for this? I am, yes. Andrew, are you still there? Oh yeah, there's Andrew. Sorry, I see Andrew. Aristotle. Oh, you've got two things going. Never mind. You're good. How you doing? You good? Okay. All right, I'm gonna go look at what the screw type is that we need. It says here we need the 5/16 inch socket head cap screws. Let's look for that. Screws and nuts. Looking for the 5/16. So this is 0.5. 5/16 is less than half an inch, so it's going to be less than that. I'm thinking it's this one here because it's a socket head cap screw, a 0.3125. I probably labeled it like that because it's harder to do fractions in the title. That's the one we want. Insert. Now when you're putting a peg like this into a hole, what you want to do is grab the center of this. Let me show you what I mean. Assemble another joint. It's going to be a rigid joint. So I want this, I want to grab this, the shaft part of this tube. And you can see here I've got 3 points. Here it's the center point and the top cap point. This is the one I want because I want this flush with the Tetrix channel. I'm going to grab that one right there. And then let's put this one in right here. So this will be like we're screwing that standoff in together. So I'm going to grab this. Let's try that. Okay. So put it in there. It's in the right spot. It's just not oriented in the correct position. It's upside down. So what can I do? Well, I should be able to flip that over. I can spin it around. That doesn't help me. Ah, here we go. Angle 95 degrees. There we go. Okay, so there's flip right here, which is going to flip it over. So now it's in the correct position. And it's a rigid joint by default. I'm going to click OK. And we've placed our first screw. Let's go ahead and do that for the other side. Capture that position. I'm going to press J for joint. Grab the uppermost part of that shaft. and this hole right here. Upside down again, hit flip, and okay. It's a lot faster than actually putting a screw in there. As you get better and better at this, this will be much faster than actually bolting Tetrix parts together. So you can create a robot much faster in this virtual world than you can in the physical world. I need 8 more of these. And they are going to be put into, you can see where they're going to go from the inside of the channel up. 4 over here, 4 over here. I'm going to go through this a little more quickly because this is just a rinse and repeat kind of activity. This is a lot of detail work, right? You gotta make sure that you are being very detail oriented. A lot of this may seem hard now, but with practice it will get easier. Using the keyboard and the hotkeys can help save you a lot of time as well. Alright, so all of those socket head cap screws are in place now. Wherever you are, as long as you have at least one screw that we can put a nut onto, I'll let you finish up yours for homework. We need 8 of these keep nut threaded. Insert that into our current design. There it is. As I grab this, I want to grab the inside. So I'm looking at the bottom, inside rim of that threaded hole. And I want that to match up with, on the Tetrix piece, the rim of the hole here that goes around where the socket head cap screw protrudes through. Okay, that went in upside down. I'm going to hit flip, flip it over, and there we go. I'm going to repeat this 7 more times. the first side all done. Got 4 more to go. And there are the other 4. Let me check my instruction manual. This is what it should look like, and that's what we've done. The above image shows 1 completed assembly. So I think we need 2 of these. Yep, make 2. Make 2. Well, if I made 1, do I have to go through all those steps again? Because we've organized things nicely, the answer to that is no. We have organized everything into one component called crossbar. What I wasn't doing is making our selection back up here to the Pushbot. So making Pushbot active, I can then go down to crossbar, say copy, click anywhere in the build area, click paste, and now I've got my second one. I can bring it out and I can see it. Click OK, and now I've got 2 of those. Only make that copy when the first one is complete. If you make a copy before the first one's complete, you're going to have to add the screws or the nuts or whatever pieces you missed on the first one to the second one as well. So make sure that's the first one is done, and then make your copy. The key there is to make sure that the Pushbot is the active component.